we have initiated a historic project. We have initiated to sequence 250 small families with parents and one kid. We have initiated to sequence 5,000 twins.
If you understand the mathematics of this word, that it will give you the secret to every science. It will give you the secret to an energy. You can tap into an energy that requires no fuel and produces no fumes.
Il y a dans ce flacon une substance qui est plus précieuse que l'or, les diamants ou le pétrole du monde réuni. Cette substance, les Anglais l'appellent le DNA.
That's some other stuff I worked with. Because of the tissue regeneration stuff I was involved with, a lot of the craft that I was brought into different projects to look at the craft because the craft were actually alive.
The craft were alive.
The craft were alive and they were conscious.
Energy, and in particular the suppression of energy technologies which could revolutionize the planet and get rid of the need for oil, coal and nuclear as power sources.
Okay, here we have the first stages of making your very own power unit. Free to the world, and we can do it ourselves at home quite simply and stop polluting the world.
The technology we're looking for are technologies that we know there are thousands of inventors and groups around the world who have been victimized by new energy suppression.
We must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite.
President Eisenhower in 1961, some people say the last great president of the USA. I think he knew stuff. He knew that he wasn't really commander-in-chief. He knew that there was another group which was running things.
What happens is very, very interesting. It's very magical. When you overload this generator, put too much of a load on it, it will be repelled by the earth and fly.
There's a movement happening, and this cannot be stopped. You know, the control structure on the planet cannot keep these energy technologies under wraps for very much longer.
Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Army, retired, trying to extract electromagnetic energy from the vacuum. We did so under duress because the conventional electrodynamics model does not allow this to happen.
The technology in free energy sector. We haven't needed fossil fuels since about 100 years ago. Energy sector that requires us to burn something to create steam to get us electricity or to run our cars.
Where we were scheduled to demonstrate this in front of the whole auditorium. As we arrived at the United Nations, the director of the New York office of the United Nations Environment Program called me up and says, Adam, I'm sorry to tell you, you can't do the demonstration for the whole auditorium because there are security issues.
We are going to sequence 1 million Chinese. I have a dream that we are going to sequence every living thing on earth. We are going to sequence everybody in the world.
Making the sound in the correct way would be the secret of intelligence, and it would give him the answers to understanding the secret, hidden, protected energy of the universe.
Suivant le point de vue auquel on se place, c'est une substance chimique inerte ou c'est déjà de la matière vivante. Quoi qu'il en soit, tout le mystère de la vie se trouve à l'intérieur de ces substances.
He described going to Area 51 and seeing this power system that was actually a living being.
Yes.
But it was this very large thing that had it looked like a skeleton over the surface of it. It had tissue components, but it also had...
Throughout space, there is energy. It is a mere question of time that man will succeed in attaching their machinery to the very real work of nature, a power obtainable at any point in the universe.
Get some bits of wood, create a box. I have 2 holes, a larger one, just a 10 mil. Just for the outer coil, 6 mil rod. It's going to go through for the inner coil.
The Federation of American Scientists wrote a report on this, their national security project, that over 5,100 patents have been seized. However, most people, it never even gets to that. They go in and they just seize it.
But what do we mean by infinite energy, by free energy? What some people have said about free energy devices. We're going to look at Tesla reproductions. I think should be fairly clear to you why we do not have free energy at the moment.
Inverse gravity vehicles for our electrodynamic world, and we live in an electrodynamic world, which we're evolving into consciousness of fifth dimensional energies, or raising our consciousness.
There's new solutions coming forward which are going to be very powerful processes that anyone can access.
Some of the phenomenology we had seen in experiments and so forth convinced us that it was possible, and there didn't seem to be any real physical reason why it couldn't be extracted if we could find a way to do it.
Tesla called it the ocean of infinite energy. And it's been called various things. The modern term is the zero-point energy field. So if you create this kind of vector into the zero-point energy field,
we went and we physically demonstrated this technology to these people. This was the moment that would change history. We had just physically demonstrated 50 times more electrical power coming out of something that caused no pollution, that used no fuel whatsoever.
And this is the 0 point right here. In other words, you can do that forever and it will never break that pattern. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. You can do that forever and it will never stop because it's all one and the same. It's a closed loop circuit.
Et ce flacon est un peu une boîte de Pandore qu'il vaut mieux refermer en attendant de vous expliquer pourquoi.
But it also had technology components. It was some weird blend of technology.
That's right. It's right. And it's already started. And I was part of that movement too, where we formulated tissue into titanium. It's called osseointegration.
You can then extract energy from that process, and Tesla's essential observation was that we live in this sort of sea of energy which we can't normally perceive, but if you build the right equipment to tap into that source of energy, then you can exploit it.
or it begins to emerge and it gets tied up in a legal or business entanglement. And usually the business that is doing this is a front for the intelligence community and or the cartels who want to keep this secret.
It should be fairly clear to you why we do not have free energy at the moment, and unless we become alert and knowledgeable citizens, as Eisenhower said, we're not going to get free energy. We have to become alert and knowledgeable about some very uncomfortable things.
There is a levity disk, what we call now inverse gravity vehicle, because the disk is repelled, the generator is repelled by a source of gravity. The stronger the source of gravity, the more the repulsion.
And that's the only kind of circuit we've used in power systems since day one. We're still building them. We're still making power systems that deliberately kill them. So we pay the power company to have a giant wrestling match inside his generator and lose. That's really what we pay them for.
And you create a certain counter-rotating vortex. You get what's called lift, and you get a phenomenon that's known as electromagnetogravitics. Now, the pop culture would call it anti-gravity.
Holy mackerel. This should have been huge news, you know? This should have been huge news. This happened in June of 1989. And I was interviewed for hours afterwards, and somebody made a call from the White House.